let's say we get the awful taste of Thundercats roar out of our mouths and have a look at some cool classic Thundercats instead. And what better company to be handling the Thundercats as small blind box collectibles than the folks over at the Loyal Subjects. This is the Loyal Subjects Thundercats Classic Real Action Vinyls. In this video, we're going to be having a look at an entire case. So the case consists of 6 on the top, 6 on the bottom. That's 12. Well, that's not 12. That's 10, but 10, 2. That's 12. We're going to have a look at a 12 box case. Recommend for ages 14 up. These are fully poseable, multiple accessories, rare chase figures also included there as well. Let's have a look at one of the individual boxes, as we probably will be seeing these quite frequently, at least times 12. Fully poseable, multiple accessories, rare chase figures, Loyal Subjects down below, Los Angeles action vinyls. There's the side. We have Lion-O, Tigra, Panthro, and Chitara. Meow. And on the other side we got Mumm-Ra, Jaga, another Jaga, which is a spirit, and another Chitara. I'm trying to just see what the difference. Oh, one's a more darker colored Chitara and one's a lighter colored Chitara. I mean, obviously there's so much groundwork there that they can make for Series 2, Series 3, and so on and so forth, as there's really a robust level of characters in the Thundercats universe. On the back there, we've got multiple points of articulation, hyper posable, and you can also follow them over in all their social media links, like www.loyalsubjects.com will take you right to their website. You can also follow them on Facebook.com, Twitter, and Instagram. Let's go ahead and get these boxes opened up. I'm super excited. Loyal Subjects is churning out some really cool products of recent memory, and they've got a whole bunch of stuff lined up in the pipes, in the pipes. I'm gonna open up the first box. One of the things I'm really excited that Loyal Subjects is doing, FYI, just between you and me and the computer. They're also going to be releasing an Aliens line, and they're also be releasing a horror line that's going to have some Freddy Krueger's and I think Jason Voorhees in there as well. So by saying I'm just excited is almost even downplaying the epic level of awesomeness that's going to be coming from Loyal Subjects in the next little while. So the first one we're going to look at, unboxing this, nothing inside, just want to make sure I got all the contents out, is we have Chitara. Meow. Chitara. Of course, comes with her staff. Let's go ahead and get... Actually, you know what? We got a card here as well. Let's just straighten out the card. Beautiful, courageous, and fast as a cheetah, Chitara is a fighting machine of the First Order, the yin to Tigra's yang, as well as the romantic interest. She has a visionary, psychic sense for threats and evil, and wields the flexible bow staff with fearsome accuracy. Again, there's all the characters on the back. Now that we've been introduced to the bow staff, let's go ahead and get that out. Put it into Chitara's hands. Luckily, the hand seems to be of sufficient opening. I can easily fit the staff into her hand. Now again, I'm not really sure why, specifically why we have 2 Chitaras. This is the one that we got here, the 2 out of 12, but then there was also 1 of 24. While the coloring on her hair is slightly lighter, it looks like her outfit is slightly darker. I'm just happy that we've got ourselves a Chitara. Again, she's got her staff in her hand. The face is very beautiful. Even got like the little freckles all over her shoulder and all throughout her hair. There's the back of it. I'm trying to think if it was Wizard that had done a casting call or if I just read it on the internet. It may have just very well been on the internet, like the fantasy, you know, who would you get to play certain characters? And of course, many people would obviously think, well, Vin Diesel would be a good Panthro. I would back that and say, not only does he have the look, but he's also got the voice, I think, for a good Panthro. But the name that they threw out for Chitara, and I think even she is championing this, is Mila Jovovich. Which actually, I do see a Mila Jovovich portraying a Chitara. I think she's kind of got a good look for a Chitara. Let me know down below who you would like to see for a perfect, you know, Thundercats casting. And No, we will not be talking about Thundercats Roar. Don't even want to get into a rant about my feelings of Thundercats Roar. Anyways, Poseability on Chitara here. Her head is on a ball joint. Shoulders appear to be also on a ball joint, by also given to the fact that there's that, the ball joint sitting in the socket area of her shoulders. Rotation in the hands. She's got waist swivel. Ball joint legs happening there, and ball joint feet. Very, very nice looking figure. Good way to start. And yes, Chitara also stands, so in case somebody was wondering. Man, there's so many characters they could come up with for Series 2, Series 3. Mumm-Ra, the ever-living, the more bestial, large-size Mumm-Ra would be awesome to include, because they obviously have the more frail Mumm-Ra. Any of the mutants that align themselves with Mumm-Ra would be perfect. Like Jackalman and Monkeyan, Slithe, or Slythe? I think it's Sly. You could have the Lynxo and Pumaira, all of the later released Thundercats. Yet, surprisingly, no Snarf. No Snarf's making any appearance in here. But again, this is just the start. I think there's a considerably fun and entertaining journey ahead for us collectors for the future Thundercats releases. It seems to me that we've gotten ourselves another Chitara, which I guess is accurate because there's 2 in 12. So every 12, there's a chance you're going to get 2 Chitara, and that's in fact what we have done. There's nothing different between this one and the previous one that we looked at. Don't believe me, there they are side by side. And we'll put it right over there. Trying to think of who else I would cast for Thundercats. Now, I'm really only kind of sort of leveraging from what I've read online. Panthro, Vin Diesel was a good pick for Panthro. Just get her stand here. Mila Jovovich, I think, still a good fit for a Chitara. The thing is, I would hire older actors. Yeah, like I've got some stroke in Hollywood. I would hire older actors, I think, for the portrayal of these. I mean, I think at one point there was a fan-made film that had used clips from Troy, and also by that inherited the fact that he used Brad Pitt as Lion-O. Brad Pitt would be a very awesome Lion-O. I don't know if you would ever consider doing Lion-O, though. Next we have is Jaga. Jaga is the mentor and warrior master of all Thundercats. Jaga was one of the greatest members of the Thunderian Council and was also a great, faithful, and true friend to King Claudius, father of Lion-O. And he also had his best friend, was it Gru? Who betrayed him. There is Jaga. Jaga. And this, by the way, is also the regular release. If you can see it there, the Spirit release has slightly more bluer tints to the plastic. No Sword of Omens includes this. Sword of Omens would also be a nice touch to include with Jaga. Same Poseability, head, shoulders, hands, waist, if I can get it in there behind his cape, waist, legs, and feet. Little ball-jointed feet. Jaga. Put him right there. Let's see what we've got for box number 3. I do my best to cut the seal on the front, but it seems, as you could probably guess it by the 3 times I've done it so far, that ain't helping much, because they put a lot of glue on the flap, which is not necessarily a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. Then you know it, at the very least, someone's not going to tamper around with the boxes you're going to be picking up at comic book stores. Yes, Mark, these are available at comic book stores, and you probably could find them at some retail stores, but I find your best bet is comic book stores if you're looking to pick up Loyal Subject pieces. My comic book store readily stocks Loyal Subject stuff. There's the back of Jaga's cape. Thundercats logo is very cleanly applied here, cleanly detailed. Another Jaga to go along with 2 Chitara. 2 Chitara, 2 Jaga. And we'll go ahead and grab the next box here. Get that all opened up. Ooh, that one opened a little bit easier than the others. Yeah, when you're finished this video, you can also go back and check out my playlist for loyal subjects. It'll show all the uncasings that I've ever done for loyal subjects. A lot of cool releases there. Speaking of releases, very excited for the horror-related ones that they've got in the pipeline, in the works. That's going to be coming out soon. Looking forward to that. Definitely going to want to look at those. As I'm talking away, though, I want to smooth out the card here. Show you that I've got Mumm-Ra the Ancient. Mumm-Ra is the awesome, all-powerful evil being whose quest to capture the power of the Sword of Omens before he transforms into his hulked and winged ever-living form. Mumm-Ra dwells in his Black Pyramid fortress in his true form, that of an ancient, decaying mummy. There's the back of them again. Mumm-Ra comes with his staff. No Mammut. That may be coming later on. Oh, I just think of all the cool ones that they would release. Like, Thundercats has a lot of really neat characters. The Lunatics, those would be kind of cool to get releases of eventually. The Mumm-Ra, I guess to his credit, is slightly more arched. I don't know if it's the cape that's pushing him forward, but I guess it makes some sense by the nature of the way that the character is. You know, he's decayed, kind of hunched over, mummy. And again, his staff is very nicely done. Looks like it takes a lot of cues from Skeletor's staff. Love the white in his eyes, very nicely black panel outlines around the outer area, and his teeth are very nicely detailed. As I could best describe it, it almost looks like it's almost like a pastel blue. It looks as if it would have a minty flavor to it. I cannot stress this enough. Do not put Mumm-Ra's head into your mouth. Like the little bandages as well that they've got draping out from his neck. Got actually 2 little strappings there draping down from his arm as well. There is Mumm-Ra the Ancient. And eventually, we'll get ourselves, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get ourselves Mumm-Ra the Ever-Living. Just keep thinking about Thundercats Roar. Try not to. Keep yourself together, man. Keep yourself together. Don't be thinking about just destroying a legacy of a cartoon series by coming out with just that garbage. Like, I may keep this to a separate video discussing my feelings of Thundercats Roar. I mean, really, and I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna keep it sweet. On the one end, anybody would say, well, really, you can't live in the past, and there's always open interpretations for what you can do with an original franchise. But I would also be heavily more on this side, or whatever side the opposing side was, to say that, you know, they clearly know what they're doing by tapping into a franchise that's already well established. That cartoon, Thundercats Roar, could have essentially been called anything and could have had drastically different drawn characters. And it's sort of cheap. They know what they're doing. Anybody who says, well, you know what, it's not a bad looking show or give it a chance, but anybody in their right mind will also know too that Thundercats, they knew obviously that going with a pre-established universe of characters was a lot easier than just coming up with some random characters, just pulling them down from the sky, picking them from like apples from a tree. That's one thing I don't like, is don't make use of an existing franchise to leverage yourself for a new product or, you know, a new way, a new interpretation. It's not even quite a remake. It's just bad. It's just really, really bad. Here I am talking away. I promised myself I would not get into an epic rant. I'll keep the rest of that for a separate video. But Lion-O here, this is apparently the neon version of Lion-O. And I'm assuming that's the only Lino available, but it says in brackets, Neon. Smart, fast, and skilled as a warrior, Lino is the prince turned king of the Thundercats. A boy that, when they fled Thundera, is now a young adult, has the mind and the temperament of a 12-year-old, so he has some maturing to do. His exclusive weapon, the Sword of Omens, gives him the power of sight beyond sight, and makes him a dire enemy of the evil Mumm-Ra. As discussed by the insert card, Lino does come with the Sword of Omens, and he also comes with the Cat's Claw, which looks like, I don't think he came with, did he come with, no? Okay, I just want to double check he didn't come with an extra hand, I just happened to drop it. So he comes with his Cat's Claw, Claw Shield, whatever you want to call it. And of course he comes with, whoa, try not to drop it. There it is. You want to drop the Sword of Omens, which has never looked finer. Slightly on the bent side, I can just warp that back into place. Primarily cast in what looks to be just a gray plastic, slightly softer variety of plastic, but the cat's logo on both sides looks exquisite. Maybe they could release another Lino, or they really could have included Jaga to have these smaller Sword of Omens that had the sight beyond sight. Either way, I'm pleased as punch. Still don't know what that means. That Lino comes included with a Sword of Omens. Let's go ahead and get that into his hand. See if I fit it into his hand. I have to just get it past that little, or actually maybe what I should do is put it back into his hand. There we go. And we'll put it on a slight angle. See if I can get it in that way. All eyes on me. No pressure, no pressure. And there's Lino with the Sword of Omens in his hand. Looks very cool. His mouth is slightly open so you can see his teeth. The eyes are very beautifully painted. Even got the little flecks of light bouncing off the pupils there. Cat's Claw looks very nicely detailed. A couple of little stones there. I believe those are the things that shoots off the little grappling lines and he can swing across things. Or sometimes he's also used the Sword of Omens and just as extended, he uses it almost like a pole vault, leaping across canyons. What can't the Sword of Omens do? I asked myself as a youth, and also in my 30s when I still watch Thundercats cartoons to this day. Hair is very nicely sculpted, almost a more lighter shade of orange. It's very similar in color to the Cat's Claw here. Head rotates left and right. Again, you got the same posability happening here. Ball joint arms, swiveled hands, swiveled hand here, ball joint legs, and ball jointed feet. Logo on his belt is very clearly presented here. There's the back of the figure. By the way, there's the underside. A little impression there of the loyal subjects. Add him to the mix. We can actually have him standing next to Mumm-Ra, do battle with one another. You know, I'm probably just guessing here. Now that I'm thinking about it, it so happens this box feels heavier than the others. I'm curious as to know who would be bigger and heavier, perhaps Panthro. Let's open it up though and find out. Peel away the flaps. There we go, there's one side, there's the other side. Open up the top flap. And the sides. Put that to the side. Yeah, this one does feel heavier. No, and actually, it's just Lino. It's just Lino. Like that's necessarily a bad thing. Lino, by the way, was 2 of 12, so that does make sense. There's his Lino card, which we've already looked at. And Lino. There we go. Oh, hold on a second. There's 2 variations of Lino. I'm assuming that's intentional, or if it was it just not painted? Color me interested as we look at a slightly colored difference between the 2 Linos. Interesting. Now again, I'm looking at the packaging here. I don't see variations at all. And ironically enough, the one that's on the packaging, if I'm correct here, is of this one here. It's not of the other one. Let's see if the Sword of Omens and the Cat's Claw are... Well, the Sword of Omens is the same color. The Cat's Shield, the Cat's Claw, is the same coloring. It's that lighter yellow color. Let's plug that into place. As you've garnered my attention here, slightly off-colored Lion-O. Let's get the Sword of Omens into his hand. The one tricky little part is getting the Sword of Omens into his hand. There we go. Very interesting. The two variations of Lion-O. Not advertised on the packaging, and yet somewhat. And even if you look at, well, if you look at that Lion-O, he's very different from that Lion-O there. I didn't even realize it now until I'm thinking about it. This is the Neon Limited Edition Lion-O. And this is, I guess, regular Lion-O. So we got two different variations. Very cool. Very, very cool. Kind of like this one a little bit more with the more yellowish sort of fur skin there. There's your two Lion-Os though. How about that? Wasn't expecting that. Pleasantly surprised. By the way, if you were doing tallies, just doing a quick check now, you'll probably see that there are 5 left. 5 left out of the 12 that we started with. We've managed to plow through 7 of them. Now we've got 5 left to go. Price point on these, by the way, will be a little over $10. I think they're personally worth it for what you're getting here. Next one we have is another Lion-O. And I'm thinking, let's have a look here. What's going on? We got Snarf. Let's just double check here. Let's hold on. There were Snarfs involved. How about that? Here I was saying I wish Snarf. I'm just going to double check all the bags, make sure I didn't leave no Snarf behind, as they say. Isn't that what they say? Leave no Snarf behind? Just double checking here. I think actually Snarf was maybe only released with the lighter shade of Lion-O. Okay, so... And it just so happens he did actually have an extra hand. All this stuff I'm discovering. I don't think the other hands, these hands here, were released with the other Lion-O. Yet this one here does have it. So you still get the Cat's Claw, your Cat's Shield, and the Sword of Omens. You still get the same Lion-O, but let's spend some time discussing old Snarf here. Snarf, Snarf, Snarf! Who I had absolutely no idea. I feel so terrible. I almost would have left poor Snarf behind. Now these two are identical to one another. No mention of it on the packaging, and yet ultimately we get ourselves a little tiny Snarf. Snarf, Snarf, Snarf. His tail has Poseability, head Poseability, arm Poseability, hands, and legs. Paired perfectly now next to Lord of the Thundercats, Lion-O. All these added bonuses, loyal subjects included into their packaging. Well done, guys. Well done. Let's go through box number 4. You know what? That actually may add up to why that box felt... Remember I said... Do you remember I said that? Not too long ago I had mentioned that one box felt a little heavier than the others. Now we know why. That little extra weight, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, was all due to little Snarfer. Little Snarf included. And next one we have is Tigra. There's Tigra right there. Tigra, Lion-O's counsel and trusted lieutenant, is the oldest Thundercat, cool-headed and gifted with scientific mind. He's the master of the bolas, a whip-like weapon that can also make him invisible, and has the power to put convincing illusions into the minds of others. Here is his bolo whip right here. We'll go ahead and get that cut open. And there is Tigra, who has never looked finer. A little on the broader side, but I guess he's not that much different than Lion-O for the broadness of his torso. You got the little Thundercats logo, very well presented on the front. His yellowing is, or his orange, I should say, is slightly more of a kind of slightly softer pastel-like orange. In fact, all the colors on Tigra are of a very pastel nature. Get the bowler whip into his hand. One of my favorite Thundercats episodes still remains to be where he has to fight each of the Thundercats team members to officially become Lord of the Thundercats. I'm trying to remember what happened with him and Tigra, but I remember specifically him and Panthro eventually had all these boulders coming down the mountain, and he had to help Panthro, who is, of course, the strongest of the Thundercats. Then there was that weird episode where Tigra, I think he's getting high off stuff like plants or some forest or something, and I think it's making him older. I may be combining two episodes together. Thundercats had some really unique episodes, that's for sure. Looks awesome with his whip. Not that you could kind of have it look as if he's about to make himself invisible. I guess you could kind of tuck that underneath his head. Turned invisible. There's the undersides of his feet. Very long toenails. Awesome. I don't know if it would be thinking too far out of the box, but, you know, for the size of these, they could also give us like a little thunder tank. Obviously not to accommodate the figures, or I guess they could accommodate the figures, but it would just be obviously very super deformed in size. Lots and lots of territory, as I'm sure I've already discussed numerous times in this video. Lots of territory to cover future Thundercat releases. Let's just do a quick tally, shall we? Just looking on one side, we've gotten all of them except for the Jaga Spirit. It's a Spirit GID. And then the other side, we've gotten all of them except for Panthro. No Panthro. Wily Cat also omitted from this release, but you never know, they may make a Series 2. Go through here. Okay. Another foil bag greets us, which I don't even think I mentioned. You got the Thundercats logo across there and loyal subjects. We have succeeded in catching ourselves another Tigra. So not a whole lot to touch base on there. We've got another Tigra to add to the mix. We'll put him down over there. Don't worry, I'll still be letting you guys know my top 3 favorite figures when we finish wrapping up this this entire uncasing. What I would like you guys to do is let me know down below in the comments section what your 3 favorites of the Thundercats real action vinyls are. Let me know your top 3. Maybe not do it just yet. Not yet. Still got to find ourselves a Panthro, which if we just look at the packaging again, Panthro is 2 of 12. So I'm just going to do some detective work here, some deducing. We haven't yet acquired a Panthro, and there's 2 of 12 in a box of 12. So how much you want to bet that the last 2 are one in fact Panthro? Did you know as well that Panthro, the voice actor that did Panthro, was also Cliff Huxtable's father in the Cosby Show? Did you know that? Probably not something I don't want to be mentioning Bill Cosby anytime soon, but something I want to mention. Here we have Panthro. I have to admit he is a little on the pale side. He probably could have been just a slightly darker shade of blue. Maybe even like the color of Tigra's outfit at the very least. He is a little on the pale side. But he does come with his nunchucks. I believe one side shoots fire, one side shoots ice. Nerds Candy back in the 80s also had a fire and ice. One side was cinnamon, and then the other side I think was mint. Nerds Candy, that was like the greatest thing ever to be a kid. Having Nerds Candy go into the general store, I can vividly tell you that Nerds Candy was 35 cents. I know that for a fact. I like to educate myself and fully immerse myself in candy back in the 80s, and Nerds Candy was delicious. 2 sides. I don't know if they still make it. If they do, I probably would pick up more of that stuff. I love Nerds Candy. I'm not even talking about nerds, we're talking about... I guess that in some ways makes me a nerd for talking about that. That's okay. Let's see if I can get the other side of the... There we go. There we go. That looks better. Panthro with both both ends of the nunchucks in his hand. I have shared this story at least one time before, but when I was younger, I had a friend that had a Lion-O Thundercat, and he talked me into, I just got my allowance, I don't know what I was doing at the time to get that set allowance, but he talked me into getting a Panthro figure. I really wanted a Lion-O. He ultimately talked me into picking up Panthro because he said, and I quote, roughly quoting this, he said, well, I've already got a Lion-O, so if we play together Thundercats, it makes no sense to have two Lion-Os. Very well spoken 8-year-old or whatever age he was. So ultimately I went to Toys R Us, I picked up a Panthro. I love that Panthro, but man, I should have got myself a Lion-O. I still kick myself to this day. Last but certainly not least, we've got ourselves Panthro. There's nothing drastically different between him and the original Panthro that we picked up. Identical to one another, right down to the very light colored skin. And there's the back of them. I believe these spikes would stick out. You could do stuff with it. It's just stuff. Very cool looking figure though. Okay, so my top 3 favorite figures. This is gonna be difficult. Well, okay. I think the jury has been away long enough. We've come to a decision, Your Honor. I'm going to go with Chitara as number 3. The bronze goes to Chitara. Beautifully sculpted, very nicely paint applied there. And of course she's got her bow staff. And it's Chitara. Meow. So I'm going to go with Chitara for number 3. There we go. Mumm-Ra, I'm going to go with number 2. Just has a really neat look to him. A precursor, perhaps, to Mumm-Ra the Ever-Living in a future release. Dare I hope that be the case. Mumm-Ra gets number 2. The silver, if you will. I don't know if they would have silver. Who knows? They might. They have Thundrillium, don't they? Thundrillium? And I'm going to go with Lion-O. Now, I do like this coloring of Lion-O versus the lighter colored Lion-O. Just my own preference, really. I guess I have to give points where points are due. I would probably give it to this Lion-O just by virtue of the fact that he also comes with a little Snarf. Snarfy, snarfy, snarf, snarf. So he's number 1. Like there was any surprise there. So there are my top 3 favorite figures from the brand new, this is brand newly released, Lion-O, and the rest of the Thundercats Classic Action Vinyls. Let me know, guys, down below in the comments section what your 3 favorite, I'm just going to pick up a couple of these that fell over here. Let me know in the comments section, what are your 3 favorite Thundercats characters from the action vinyls that we've just opened up. And if you guys are interested in picking these up for yourself, you can find them at comic book stores right now. Let's not discuss Thundercats Roar. Okay, let me know down below what you think of Thundercats Roar. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. Today we were, though, looking at... Now I'm thinking of Thundercats Roar. Today we were having a look, though, at the Loyal Subjects Thundercats Classic. This was the action vinyls. I'm hoping Series 1. I'm looking on the back here. I don't see Series on here, but I'm hoping this will be the start of many releases of the Thundercats action vinyls from Loyal Subjects. Make sure you head over to Loyal Subjects' website as well. Lots of cool things in the Pipeworks line. Again, the horror stuff is coming up very soon. Very excited to have a look at those. Hopefully, if I can get a case. And also, if you guys want to go back and have a look at all the other Loyal Subjects uncasings I've done on this channel, there's a Loyal Subjects playlist you can watch at your viewing pleasure. More unboxing videos like this will be coming your way, guys, so stay tuned for those. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.